Hello and welcome to an all-new DC cast, Explosion Network's hub for discussing all things DC Comics related. Place to talk about everything happening in Metropolis, Gotham, and beyond. I'm Ashley Hobley, and joining me today is Dylan Blight.
Like Batman Beyond, am I right?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going for.
That's right.
We are back. Can you believe it's been 6 months since we talked on this podcast? Do you know what the last thing we talked about was?
Peacemaker?
It was Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So we are back here discussing new happenings in the DCU. Yeah, that's what it's called now.
DCCU.
Pretty sure it's just DCU.
When they reboot it again, it'll just be DU.
Maybe.
And then after that, it'll
just
be
drop
FU.
the comics. Yes, we are starting the preparations for Supergirl to release. So we're going back and looking at all of the various live-action Supergirl depictions, starting with her first full appearance in Smallville. So that's what we'll be discussing today. So if for some reason you're listening to this and you've never watched the entirety of Smallville, come back later. With that said, let's talk about Smallville, Season 7, Episode 2, Kara.
No mortal woman pulled me from that river. Not only is she as strong as I am, she can fly. Why are you searching for me?
Krypton Salvation is on Earth. You and I were the key.
Are you some kind of savior? Or are you a warning?
Everything you hold dear in this world could be lost.
Are you gonna trust Clark?
Directed by James Conway, written by Todd Slavkin and Darren Swimmer, starring Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, Kristin Kreuk, Allison Mack, Erica Durance, Aaron Ashmore, Laura Vandervoort, and John Glover. Clark and Lois beat Smallville's newest arrival face-to-face, and she has some surprising news. Clark decides to leave Smallville and continue with his superhero training, but Jor-El informs him that a new Kryptonian menace has arisen. Dylan, what do you think of this episode of Smallville?
Yeah, I mean, returning to Smallville at any point is a bit of fun because it's the longest. I know it's the longest show I've ever watched in its entirety before, and obviously quite enjoyed the show. So jumping back to it is always a little bit of a nostalgia trip. I remember the episode. I don't remember everything that happens, but I remember the episode roughly and the way it plays out and things that were happening in the show at this time. So it's a bit different than sometimes we jump into things where you make me watch them where I don't ever watch anything after or have no context or thing before, like the Superman Lois show or no Clark, whatever that show is, where it's like we talk about the pilot or whatever. And I don't watch any more of that.
The New Adventures of Superman and Lois with
all that sort of stuff. So
what's his face? And Terry Hatch.
I have a bit more in touch here at least. So I like how Supergirl was introduced in Smallville. I like the dynamic between the two of them throughout this series. It's very MacGuffin in how she's sort of introduced, though, with the whole, especially by the time you get to the end of the episode, it's like, whoever has that crystal will contain great power or whatever. Let's set up a MacGuffin for the rest of the season. Overall, I thought it was a fun episode. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff amongst here that's not Supergirl related that is tied into the Smallville Season 7 as an entirety. Obviously, all the Lex stuff and whatever else, but
yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I do. It was a little hard going back. One, just remembering where the plot was at this point, because obviously this is the final season that some of these cast members are involved, like Michael Rosenbaum and Kristin Kreuk left the show after this, and is very much their characters are kind of losing steam at this point. And
they come back for the final season.
They come back the
not
episodes.
properly, but like an episode.
Yeah, but this is the final season is them as season regulars. I had to go back. I watched the preview, like at the start of the season. There's like a recap of what happened at the end of the previous season. I just had to watch that so I can like get a understanding of where we were.
What was the villain for season 6? What was it? I can't remember. Brainiac?
No, it was the Phantom Zone prisoners
Okay,
for most
all
of
the
it,
other
and then
ones,
Lex
yeah.
was doing his machinations
Yeah.
throughout the season, and Lionel was part of the cult thing to help the Traveler. So yeah, getting that, understanding what is up. Also, Kristin, Lana fakes her death. I think that was a key thing to remember. And that's why Lex was in prison.
Yeah.
He's accused. Yeah. At the
Accused
start
of
of the
killing
season.
him. Yeah.
Yes. And that's why he also believes she's not dead.
Because he knows he didn't do it.
Yeah. Obviously, we're focused pretty much on Supergirl. I think she is introduced in a very interesting way where she's introduced kind of as an antagonist to Clark initially because she is protective.
Kryptonian.
And I like the idea that she's come to Earth and is looking for a baby boy. And her solution is to go to all the little preschools around asking if any of these children is called Kal-El, because of course he'll still be called Kal-El even though he was arrived as a baby. So all that kind of stuff was fun. I think there is definitely, maybe with so much time in between, there's some roughness with the visual effects, even more than I feel like watching the pilot last year. Like whether it's Clark getting thrown the first time through a bunch of trees and stuff, that didn't look good. I think the worst shot is when Supergirl flies up to space.
Space at the start of the episode.
Yeah. Like
there's a reason they didn't want him flying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that shot indicated why the no flying thing was very
Big
prevalent.
Mm.
Because the CGI of that was terrible. And then some of the other elements of this, like the whole Chloe storyline and just her reactions to everything that's happening, not great. So there is some not fantastic acting in this as well. So, but the nostalgia's there because it's part of the show that we kind of all grew up on watching. So, let's quickly run through the plot. According to number one movie source, Wikipedia, Clark discovers he has a cousin named Kara who was stuck in suspended animation for 18 years. After a rocky first meeting where Clark and Kara fight, the two soon band together to find Kara's stolen ship. Together, they find her ship which was taken by the Department of Domestic Security, but is in self-destruct mode. Kara absorbs the explosion before it can kill anyone. I mean, that pretty much covers the entirety of their storyline. Like you said, I think a lot of the stuff here is maybe, at least the introduction is kind of ham-fisted. They just info dump all this information in one big block about the backstory and Krypton's exploded and I thought you were meant to be a baby, or I met your mother, and all that kind of stuff is all here. I do kind of enjoy the characterization where Kara believes she is kind of better than all the humans here on Earth. And then she has quickly picked up a lot of idioms, apparently. Like the line, it's true what the humans say. Girls do mature faster than boys and all that kind of stuff. So that's all fun. Then interesting dynamic, I think. She knew him as a baby, and then now he's technically the older one, I guess. So, what did you think of Kara, I guess, and their relationship so far?
Yeah, I think it's really fun. I think they do, at least in this episode, they do a decent job of being like, here she is. She comes off, sort of a little bit daft and silly because of the, not understanding the Earth dichotomy and the fact that she's been stuck in suspended animation and all that sort of stuff. But then, they show, by the time you get to the end of the episode, with her coming to realization that her whole planet's gone and she's lost her family, and I sort of feel bad for her, and you get a nice moment between her and Clark. But, I think it's, then you get the fun little elevator moment where she just crashes that, and there's some fun stuff amongst it.
Yeah, so continue calling him Kal-El, and then finally, very cheesy, but just finally calling him Clark at the end. And then there's the teaching her to use her powers, like hearing and all that kind of stuff. What was? I think it's the ship exploding. She sets it up like it's going to be a freaking atom bomb, and then she just stands in front of it. It takes a blow. Not, not saying she oversold or anything, but it could have been more impressive, I think. Anyway, I guess we're going to touch on now the other various storylines according to this Wikipedia article. Lex finds Lana, who used an inert Luthor Corp clone of herself to help fake her own death in Shanghai. That was interesting. Very much forgot everything to do with Lex. Okay, great. Lois begins reporting on the spaceship and catches the attention of Daily Planet's new editor, Grant Gabriel. Grant is tough on Chloe, who thinks she has lost her touch, and gives Lois, who he thinks is a star, a job.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Chloe and Lois in this episode is just simply that Chloe's in this protecting Clark world scenario set up where she doesn't chase the stories like she did because she now knows the reality, whereas Lois doesn't know and
is willing to chase the story.
Is willing to go. But also that new editor guy is an absolute dick. You quickly hate him.
I thought it was fine. He definitely has a,
comes off pompous to me.
Yeah, I mean, he does come off a little pompous, just the way he kind of newspapers, hey, we got to sell papers, But just got the impression that Chloe kind of feels like she is falling behind, or like because she's being overtaken by Lois in this journalism career that she's always wanted.
Yeah,
before she was
sort of
Lois was like the Inquisitor and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and Lois sort of she wasn't passionate about it the same way Chloe was. So
yeah. Also, I don't know if you realize this, but Chloe is dealing with the recent discovery that she has kryptonite powers.
No, I did not.
That's why she's looking at the kryptonite power people files at the start of the episode.
Okay. No, I forgot that.
Established at the end of the previous season. Yeah. Lex returns to Smallville, determined to find the girl who saved his life. In the previous episode, we do technically see Supergirl for the first time where he saves Lex because a superpowered person always has to save Lex. So that's his big thing throughout the season. He's going to try and find Kara, I guess. And then Clark begins his training with his first task being to watch over Kara as Jor-El does not trust her. Again, kind of setting up the season. It's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of, this is the second episode, but the first episode sort of just wraps up the last season, and the second episode sets up the season.
Yeah, it's interesting how, it's the second episode is really the first episode because the premiere is usually the conclusion of a cliffhanger that they left at the end of the previous season. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on this episode of Smallville?
No, I like it's a perfectly fine introduction for Supergirl. Sets up the rest of the season. But I mean, we're sort of just trying to focus on Supergirl angle here. But I've always thought that, although not the best representation or by any means of Supergirl in Smallville, I've always thought like how Kara's portrayed in Smallville was decent and like stands apart. Like it's not. It never feels like it was the same as the next TV show to do it or anything else, So
also, as they point out in this episode, there was a previous Kara who showed up like in season 3 or 4. It was like I don't know, some sort of manifestation of Jor-El, played by Adrian Palicki, who would then go on to star in the Wonder Woman pilot that never went to air. And then became Mockingbird in the MCU. So that's very interesting. Before we wrap up, Dylan, question without notice. Most memorable episode of Smallville?
Most memorable episode of Smallville? The Justice League one where they like all walk towards the camera.
Yeah, that's the answer I had as well. You know, it's crazy that episode came out 2007, and you're like, this is the only time we'll ever see these characters come together.
It was very cool when it happened.
And then 10 years later is when Justice League finally aired. So, which one was better? Who's to say? All right, let us know what you thought of this episode of Smallville. Should we watch more Smallville? Head on over to explosionnetwork.com/follow and let us know on social media. If you want to help us out here at All New DC Cast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you want to help us out at Explosion Network with all our other podcasts and written content, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening, and join us next time for another All New DC Cast.